Right, just for this last project we need 5-inch squares. So charm squares would be fine, but if you haven't got charm squares you need to cut yourself some 5-inch squares. There's lots of ways of doing it. You know, you've done it before for rabbit and what have you, but I am this is from Sweet Pea, and it is a 10-inch square, so exactly the same as a layer cake would be, a 10-inch square. Okay, I'm just going to get some of this extra fabric out of the way a minute. Oops, didn't do that very well. Excuse me. Alright, got a lot of it. And then I can use my board and fiddle me round, keeping my template nice and straight. Okay, and making sure I'm still on everywhere, nice and straight. So now I just cut myself a 10-inch layer cake, if you like. Yeah, I haven't ironed this, tut tackling in. But now, because I know that line is halfway, that means if I cut it on that line, that dotted line in the middle, I'm cutting it into a 5-inch strip. And if I put one on top of the other, line them up nicely. Just to make sure that wasn't a selvage there. Line them up nicely. It'd be easier if I ironed it, wouldn't it? Woo! Easier if I ironed it. Anyway, put that 5-inch strip down there, cut across there, and now I've got 5-inch squares. I've already cut some, oops, which I dropped off the end of the table. So now I've got 4 each of these fabrics, and I want the dark fabric for in the middle, so I'm just going to go and find myself a bit of navy blue. Just found myself a bit of navy blue spray time, that'll do me. So if I put my 5-inch mark on that selvage, and I got it doubled over, I only want 2 of these. This is for my middle square, which that's a good line. My middle square, because I want it to be a really dark colour in the middle, and I'll show you why soon. Okay, I'm just going to make a square on that edge a minute. I know I've got plenty, and I know I've got a good cut line there. Put my 5-inch mark against that one. Yep, cut that off. Right, so those are 5-inch squares, and I got 2. Obviously, I wanted 2 for the middle. Right, we're nearly ready to go. Alright, now I don't know where we got to yesterday. I think I've shown you how to cut out 5-inch squares. I cut out 5-inch squares, but if you've got a 5-inch charm pack you might want to use for this, it's entirely up to you. But I'm doing it in a way where I'm just using 4 colours and a really dark colour for the centre. Now it's a 9 patch, so I am going to arrange my 9 patch How am I going to do it? I think I'm going to start by doing opposite corners. Yeah, opposite corners in my pretty material. That dark in the middle. Opposite corners of this blue. The two whites facing each other. Remembering to make sure which way up your whites are. Okay, white on white is a disaster waiting to happen, as you know. That's the right way up. And then this grey, you've seen this grey on the heart thing that we just did, I'm going to use in filling the middle pieces. Now, as with any 9 patch, we're literally first off going to sew a 9 patch together, and when we've done that we're going to completely alter it. But to start off with, as in any other way you would sew a 9 patch, right, we'll sew the middle row over to the left, sew down the right hand side, sew down the right hand side, sew down the right hand side, and then when I come back, that top bit will be together. I will put that on there, sew down the right hand side, and do that, so I end up with 3 rows, which then we're going to match the seams, so top to the middle, so the bottom to the middle, so we end up with a 9 patch. So I'm going to go and do that. 1/4 inch foot, 1.8 stitch length, because this is piecing work. Ordinary white cotton. What else can I tell you? Nothing else. This is simple straight line sewing using a 1/4 inch foot. I just sewed those strips, and why I've stopped before I sewed the rest together, because I'm sorry, it just comes so naturally to me, because, you know, I've done a few. So, but when you do these strips, exactly as I said to you, one onto that one, and then one onto that one, one onto that one, one onto that one, one onto that, yeah. So you've got 3 strips, which we're now going to match the seams. Now, but when you iron, okay, say it's the top, when you're making a 9 patch, and you iron, yeah, first of all, you set the seam, yeah? Then, whichever colour you have on top, when you push back with the iron, that's the way the seam is going to go. I wanted this seam to go outwards. So, the other side, yeah, set the seam, push it back and iron. So as you can see, my top row, both my seams are going outwards. Now with the middle row, I want the seams to go inwards, yeah? So this time we start in the middle, set the seam, hold, whichever's on top is the way the seam is going to go, hold the middle one, push backwards, iron it, turn it round, set your seam from the middle, so the blue's on top, push backwards. Now that means that these seams are facing inwards, so those are out, these are in. Okay, and then with the bottom row, same as the top row, these are going outwards. Alright, showed you how to do that. Now that means that when we come to put the top row, and I'm hoping that this is going to show up on the camera, and I'm just doubling checking I'm in the right place. When we put the top row onto the middle row, can you see there's my seam going this way, there's my seam going that way. So then you can nestle those seams so that they are opposites, yeah? So then when you get your pins, and you pop your pin in, so you're double checking to make sure your seam is correct. and you pop your pin in out of the way of your sewing, okay, and double check it again. Yeah, that's how I want it. And then the same with this side. One is going this way, this one's going that way, so I can bring the seams together so that they lock, pop my pin in it, and double check it. Yeah, that is exactly where I want my seam to sit. Now I can sew that, and when I iron it, I will be holding this bit on top and rolling it back, so the seam will go upwards. Yeah, and then we'll come back and we'll attach the bottom. But if you can imagine, when we come to attach the bottom like this, it's going to be exactly the same. The seams are going to be facing in opposite directions, so that you can just do what we did with the top one. All right, and I forgot to say that about the ironing process, because as I say, I do so frequently, it comes a second nature. But in a project like this, it makes it all nice and neat and flat. And as I am teaching you, may as well do it the right way, haven't we? So now I've sewed that together. Okay, nice crosses. So the next thing is we want to do the bottom line. And as I said, they should all, I can turn it around if you don't mind, because I'm right-handed. They should all come in nicely, pin out the way. This one, double check it, pin it, pin out the way. Just double check that one again a minute. Yeah, that's fine. So I'm going to go and sew that now. Okay, right. So this is my 9 patch all sewn together now, and both these seams are facing outwards, the top and the middle. So I just wanted to talk for a minute, because this is like basic one-on-one patchwork, simplest form, isn't it, at the moment. I have used my choices on colours. Basics to start with. You'll notice that I've got 2 different lights. Yeah, that one and that one, they're lights in my mind. And I got 2 mediums, that one and that one, medium. And then I've got a dark. And when you start to put together fabrics to go together, no matter what colours they are, in patchwork, to keep the eye interested, or how can I say, to get the best tonal effect of doing patchwork, is by using a combination of lights, mediums and darks. So this catches the eye. Yeah, now my particular choices, number 1, I fell in love with this material, and I got a mushroomy beige carpet in my bedroom. I've got a light grey headboard, and then this I thought went well to tone in the you know, to take in aspects from this. I could have taken the pink out of it, I suppose, but I do like the aqua. And then the navy blue, well, I've got dark blues in this, so the navy blue as my dark colour has come into play there. So it's just a thought that when you're putting together and going through your scrap bin, or even going out and buying fat quarters or whatever you're going to use, think about how things are going to go together, but start with a basic principle. You want lights, mediums, darks. Okay, you want a mixture. You don't want it to be all light, you don't want it to be all medium, because your eye gets confused. Trust me. Well, it's in my limited opinion. Now, this is the interesting bit now. we're going to cut it. You probably got a long ruler like this, and one at the top, always one at the top. I'm going to put the 2 1/4 line, there it is on mine, 2 1/4 line I'm going to put on that seam coming down. And as we've just taken a 1/4 inch off either side of this 5-inch block, that's going to make that block 4.5 inches wide. So 2 1/4 is halfway down that block. So you would do it like this. And I'll just do it, okay? But as I say, because I've been going a while, I find rulers like this very helpful. And on this ruler, can you see it's got an opaque 1/4 inch on this edge? So if I just put that on that outside line, it's a 2.5 inch ruler, so I know that's 2 1/4, yeah? So then I can turn my board, keeping it all together. Yep, keeping everything together. Put my 2 1/4 line on that seam, 2 1/4 line on that seam, and then cut. So again, I have now split this. Oh, look. I have now split this, and I'm just going to turn it back to how it originally was. I've now split this into 4 large squares. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn 180 degrees those 2 inside blocks. Okay, now look what's happened. Doesn't look like a 9 patch now, does it? Looks like I worked really hard to make that, but I haven't. And this is what they call a disappearing 9 patch, and it gives great effect. So now you can see why I wanted the dark in the middle, because now I've got the dark, still got focus in the middle, but now I've got this focus on a diagonal both ways, yeah? So it makes your eye follow. This is part of using different tones, light, mediums and darks, to make your eyes, make everything a bit more interesting. So just as with any other 4 patch, now over we go. We haven't got any seams to match, so we don't have to worry about anything. We're going to sew down the right hand side. The same with this one, over we go. Nothing to match. Nice and easy. Down the right hand side we go. So I sewed that one to that one, this one to this one. I pressed this top seam so that the seam is going that way, and then this bottom one I pressed it so the seam is going that way. Alright, so that when we do this, our seams are facing in opposite directions. And I can lock that together with my fingers, double check it. I like it. No, I don't like it. Wait a minute. That's better. It's worth taking the time to get this right, she says, thinking, oh, what have I done? What have I done? What have I done? But I do try to get it right. Put my pin in, and then, well, you can pin other bits if you like. But there shouldn't be, no, aside from that middle, there's nothing else to set, to match seams on. So now literally 1/4 of an inch down this edge. So there I am finished, and this has now brought this block down to being just about, yeah, a 12.5 inch block. So make sure your 1/4 of an inches are not too wide, all right? You know, make sure you're accurate with your 1/4 inch seam. So that's the first, so that's a disappearing line block. And that is going to be, I'm going to do that twice because I'm going to have one, remember I'm making a bed runner, so I'm going to have one of these one end and one of these the other end, and I might do some other things in between. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next, but I'm going to make at least 2 of these. You could say, well, actually I like that. And of course the next one you make, you can turn the entire block another direction, so that you can have your V's running up and down if you like, and just make them all like this if that's what you want to do. It's entirely up to you, but this is where I'm starting to make the bed runner now. Disappearing line block.